Good morning. Welcome. Send some Roger love out into the ethers. He'll be with us
Hi, Roger.
again next week.
He's traveling to Florida.
We're going to do this song that is about asking for what we need. Turn the mic over to Diane Tushman.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good to see everyone who's here in person, and those of you who are live streaming, good to see you as well. I should introduce myself. I am Diane Tushman, for those who don't know, and I am currently serving as the secretary to the Board of Trustees, and I just posted the minutes of our last board meeting, so you're always welcome to take them down from the bulletin board and read them and see what we do at our board meetings. We try to limit them to 2 hours. There's an awful lot that we always have to get done, but we try our best. So good morning again. So I'd like to, so if we could just settle in for a moment, and I'd like to open with a prayer by Marianne Williamson. And she writes, I greet all whom I meet today with the love of God. It can be a kind smile, an understanding pause, or a touch of a hand that makes all the difference in how someone's day unfolds. I wish to be a conduit of love to all I meet, that I might know a softer way of being and a deeper sense of peace. Let us remember today that all of us are in need of love, both those who make it obvious and those who make it easy to forget. Whether showing their love or hiding it, other people are, as I am, in need of understanding. May I be someone who understands. May my selfish nature melt away, dear God, and compassion come to take its place. May everyone I meet or even think of today be blessed by the love I send their way. I will receive as I decide to give, and today I choose to give love. And again, I greet all whom I meet today with the love of God. Amen. Are there any prayer chaplains today with us? We have Dennis and anyone else here today? All right, well, thank you. Anyone in need of prayer? One-on-one time, Dennis is available, and he'll be at the back of the sanctuary today. Thank you, Dennis, and all prayer chaplains. Thank you for your service. Very special. So, what's happening at Unity? Lots going on today. Announcements. So, next week, March 3rd, is our Board of Trustees meeting, our annual meeting, and we have our candidates. I think there they are. So we will be welcoming them into the board next Sunday and voting for them. Membership, we will be updating our active membership list, and if you're not a member yet of Unity, that is okay. Please come next week. We are providing, the Board of Trustees is providing lunch, which is going to be great, and our annual meeting. Come see how our voting happens and what we do, whether you're a member or not. And for those of you who are desiring to be a member of Unity Church, we will be having a membership class in the fall, probably the end of September. So the benefit of being a member is that you can vote for a candidate, and you can also possibly serve on the board someday in the future. So next Sunday is our annual meeting. Those are our candidates. Maybe during hospitality you can speak with them. You want to stand? Ursula's here, and Chris and Tim. Is Tim here? Yeah, Tim is here. So those are our three. Is Tim here?
I saw him downstairs.
Oh, okay. Okay, so those are our three candidates. So we'll be voting next Sunday. We'll be voting, all three of them are welcome to our Board of Trustees. We'll be voting on the 3-year term or the 1-year term. And we can explain a little bit more of how that happens. So that's next Sunday. On the 10th of March, we'll be celebrating the life of Patricia Hunt Perry here at the church. Meditation on this Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, will not be here in the church and Zoom. We will be meeting at St. Vincent de Paul Church for an extraordinary, I guess, a discussion of harmony and transformation between two gentlemen who have had different life experiences and different struggles, and how they're coming together in harmony and nonviolence. And I think what a beautiful, inspiring message for this time of Lenten season leading up to Easter. So it's entitled Two Truths in One Heart, Two People in One Land. And again, St. Vincent de Paul next Wednesday in place of our meditation on Wednesday night at 7.
Diane, what time is it?
7 p.m. Is there a slide for that? Oh, I'm sorry. Skipping.
Yeah, it's not there yet.
Try the next one.
I think it's 7.
There you are.
Okay, 7 o'clock, right?
7:30.
Oh, 7:30, 7:30, sorry about that. And then today, after service today at 1 o'clock, we have restorative yoga with Pam, and she is here if you want to speak to her about that. That'll be this afternoon. Do you want to say something? I think,
Sure.
come on.
I'm really excited to do my first offering at Unity. So I have some people that pre-registered. Is there anybody here that is coming that didn't pre-register so I can get a head count? All right, great, thank you. I do have lots of space, so if it's something you want to see happen again, come, go have lunch, put your sweatpants on, and come. I'm going to show you how to get on the floor with a chair and everything. Okay. Namaste.
Thank you, Pam. All righty. I think that's it for announcements. Grab everything? I think I did. Okay, so today's daily word is faith. I carry my faith in God with me throughout the day. I keep my faith at the forefront of my awareness, taking a few minutes in the morning to pause, breathe deeply, and place my awareness on the presence of God. I feel energized and strengthened, and I expect all good things. As the day progresses, I pause again for a moment or two and affirm, God and I are one. I have faith that God, my source, is with me in everything I think, say, and do. At night, I look back on the events of the day and savor the moments in which God's presence felt especially strong. I have faith that awakening from a restful night's sleep, hearing a kind remark, enjoying time in nature, or spending quality time with a loved one are ways to feel the presence of God within and around me. And from the Chronicles, and they shall stand every morning, thanking and praising the Lord, and likewise at evening. So let's repeat together, if we will. I carry my faith in God with me throughout the day. And so it is. Thank you. Amen. Thank you.
This is one of our favorites from Daniel Nahmad. We had the pleasure of his company about 2 years ago now. Is it 3 years? Was it 2020?
Yeah.
He came in 2020. Wow.
Time for him to come back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything
COVID years.
changed with COVID.
It's fantastic to have him here, so please enjoy.
Raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no
Good morning. What a joy to look around this room and see so many faces. Holy wow. So for those of you at home, we get a little extra boost of energy to send to you to welcome you into this space and into this time together this morning. I want to pause because I do know we have a couple of new folks here today, and I'm not going to put you on the spot because sometimes we are a little overwhelming in our loving welcome, but welcome. And so if you are curious to know more about who we are, we have some welcome packets out in the hall, and anybody here who's wearing one of those little dangling name tags that I always forget to put on would be happy to tell you more about who we are. But I want to pause for a minute in this welcome to land with that word God. I have, over the last few months, explored some really interesting ways to think about what that word means. The unnameable, the omni-nameable. It's the name we give the blanket that we put over the mystery in order to give it shape. It is really one of my favorites from the band manager of AC/DC. It is. Like, I just think, wow, holy wow, it's the blanket. It's the name of the blanket we put over the mystery to give it shape. So that mystery, whatever we call that presence that enlivens us, that we hunger for in the holiness and the presence and the faithfulness and the coming together that this represents for us every week. I invite you into exploring what that name means for you. How we see God beyond us as that principle that enlivens all of creation. God beside us as the beloved, walking with us through everything. And God being us. God within that whispers and sometimes shouts and sometimes says, don't worry about that thing that happened this week. It's going to be okay. It's all going to be all right. So more about that in a little bit. I do want to give one public service announcement. Jean gave me caught me just at the beginning to let me know that today, in support of Ukraine's struggle for liberation and full independence, there is a gathering at the corner of Central Avenue and Wolf Road in Colony, where you might even just honk and wave and show your support for people around the world and across the world who are suffering in that way. And I would like us to pause as we enter in to remember a couple of things. Our dear friend Jeannie let me know last night that Reverend Steve Colliday died this week. I'm sorry to so without ceremony let you know that, but Steve was the transition minister here at Unity. And Jeannie wanted me to know because she felt like his healing ministry helped make way for me to be here. And so I am grateful, even though I've never met him in person, and honestly, you have never met him in person, because he came here like the day before the world shut down in lockdown. Some of you met him in person, yeah. Many did not. So Jeannie posted his last, which you can find on our website, she posted the recording of the last service he did here, where he shared a talk with Roger while he was in Missouri and Roger was right here. And so I invite you to revisit that if you were here then, or if you want to know more about kind of the trajectory of people who have held this community in love. And we send that love to all of the people who knew and loved Steve, and for the many communities that he helped in his role as a transition minister. That's important work to help a community find their path when one minister has left, and to prepare to invite somebody new into that role. So I'm grateful for all the work that this community did in that way with him, to be ready for our yes and our union. So as we hold that high watch with Steve's beloveds, I just also want to mention that the Sunday that we celebrate Patricia Hunt Perry is, yes, it is a celebration of her life. Many people here in this community knew and loved her in her years here. But it has been an incredible gift to get to know through the planning with Patricia's son, Jeff, for this celebration about what a rich life she led way before she walked through this door with her flowing cape and walking stick. So yes, it will be a celebration of Patricia's life, but it also will be a call to us to remember, what does it mean to us to live fully? And so we have in these two reminders today with Steve and with Patricia what it means to step fully into who we are called to be. And so whether you knew Patricia well or not, I invite you to come that day to celebrate during the service and then to stay and see these glimpses of a life that was well and truly lived, fully lived, and also to be fed. There's going to be a lot of food happening at Unity over the next number of weeks. And so we pause. We pause and hold the people who are walking in sorrows close to home today. We hold people who are living in the reality of communities torn apart by war and violence. And we hold the truth that we are here called by that unnameable, omni-nameable presence to show up as love. And so as we bring forth whatever our hearts hold this morning into this sacred pause, we feel it fully. We let it open our hearts and lead us into saying our vision, to hold together what our individual hearts are holding, and know that the gift of community is that we hold that together and we let it be our guiding light. And so whether you are saying these words for the first time or the second time or the uncountable number of times that you've said it, say it anew. Hear it anew. Let it call you anew. Oh, but first, before we get to the vision, the gift of this phrase that landed a few weeks ago that I'm going to come back to today again is this reminder of something that we share, that everyone shares. We just share an awareness of it here in this community. And so I invite you to say with me this community affirmation. God is the divine givingness of the universe. My whole being is one with the divine flow. And now let that truth lead us into our vision, to hear anew, to say anew these words as our guiding light. As we say, we envision a world transformed through the spiritual awakening of all. And that awakening calls us to be love in all actions. And to commit to this mission and growing it together as we say, we awaken to and embrace the divine essence of all beings, through prayer and service in our community and in the world. And because we are one with the divine givingness of the universe, we feel that power in our interconnectedness and our connectedness with that consciousness that is beyond what any of us can give on our own, but that invites us to show up with all that we are as we affirm together. The power of Christ love now releases me from any sense of separation from spirit or others. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, the all-loving goodness of God. And so it is. Amen. Feel that blanket coming over you. Okay.
I surrender. I allow. I surrender. I allow. I surrender. I allow. I surrender. I receive, I let go, I release, I know, I receive, I let go, I release, I know, I allow, I receive, I surrender, I let go, I allow, I surrender, I know, I allow, I receive, I surrender, I let go, I allow, I release, I surrender, I know, I surrender. I allow, I surrender. I allow.
Will you pray with me and for each other, that in this time of meditation and message, all that Spirit, all that God is longing to express in us, through us, and as us will come through and will be ignited. I'm going to share today a version of the Tonglen meditation, but as it was shared yesterday by one of my beloved teachers, Diane Burke, at a one-day retreat on Zoom the mundane miracle of Zoom in a day called Soul Nourishment. So as we center in, your eyes may close or just let your gaze soften. Focus your attention on your breath. Simply noticing the rhythm of your breath as you inhale and exhale. Not forcing anything to slow down or deepen, but just to notice. And at the same time, trusting that within just a few breaths, our individual rhythms entrain with each other, reminding us of our interconnectedness. And now sense your body supported, grounding in by noticing the physical sensation of where your body is touching where you sit. Either letting your hands fall open to receive, or letting them rest in your lap or over your heart, sensing your palms and the backs of your fingers, sensing the air around them if they're open, or sensing where they touch your body. Notice the sounds of my voice, the sounds of Pete's beautiful, gentle notes of the piano washing through you and over you. If you're home, noticing the sounds in your own home or wherever you are, but letting them guide you inward. So that as we've checked in with our breath, our physical bodies, check in now with your emotion body. As you settle in, what emotions or feelings arise? And without labeling either good emotion or bad feeling, simply notice. Or maybe think back to how you felt this morning on waking up. Is there a weight of loneliness or grief? Uncertainty? Confusion? Maybe you're feeling the simple pleasure of this weekly connection. Feeling joyful or peaceful, or sensing a rolling wave of different emotions. So say in your heart mind, whatever it is you're feeling, I am lonely, I am grieving, I am happy, I am confused, I am feeling all the things. And now, instead of identifying as that emotion, notice how it feels in your body to say, grief sits here with me. Joy sits here with me. Loneliness is here. Joy, happiness, peace are just in this room of me with me. Can you begin to notice a shift in recognizing you are not your emotions? They are simply friends and teachers here to visit and instruct. And sense that maybe one feeling that sits closest to you in this moment. And as you breathe in and out, connect to everyone in this room or watching from home who may in this moment be experiencing that which sits next to you. And feel yourself connected as you sit with this emotion, sit with this grief, this joy. Feel yourself connected in this space, in this moment. And now widen your awareness to include all those experiencing this same emotion that sits next to you as a friend, whether welcomed or not. All those in this city, in our beautiful state, in our country, all those in places around the world who at this moment sit beside this same feeling. And breathe in and out and feel your connection, your shared human connection, your divine connection beyond all limits of time and space. Sense the faithfulness of that friend, that emotion that sits beside you, that connects your heart to every other heart sitting now. Holding now that tender feeling. Now, thanking that friend, that emotion that has sat beside you. Take a deeper breath now. In and out. And come back now into full awareness of where you are. Full awareness of who you are and who we are together. So my message today is going to be a little bit of a look back into the winding path of February's invitation to landing today with not that, because that was going to be the title of the talk that I forgot to go in and change to now. The title of the talk is really, It's All Right. Although it is also connected to where do you see the face of God? It all works. So again, for some of you who are just landing here in the last couple of weeks, I'm going to give you a little snippet of where February has brought me. Because as people say to me, I don't know how you do this every week. I'm like, well, here's how I do this every week, because I have to show up for all of you. So it invites me to show up with the unnameable, omni-nameable beloved that I walk with and as, and all of creation, and do my own work. And so here is the Cliff Notes look behind of February and how I got from Love is Letting Go of Fear on February 4th to knowing that where I see the face of God and knowing that it is all right today. So on that Sunday, one of the things I talked about, I showed a picture of a little girl that I only know through a program called Unbound, that in 2016, when I was newly ordained, underemployed, money-wise, overemployed time-wise, I said yes to monthly support of this 7-year-old girl who lives in the Philippines. And it was not just the commitment to her. It was my commitment to my sacred purpose, to saying yes to how grateful I was then and am now into the many, 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 many ways that I have been supported and loved and held through the course of my life, and especially in those years of walking away from one life and into a new life and all that that led me to. So saying yes to Kian, that day that I learned about this program and feeling in my body, oh, I know what my bank account looks like, but I'm going to say yes anyways because I think I need this for me. I need to say yes for me, to feel that I can step in trust, that my needs are met in ways that sometimes surprise me, but that I could partner in a creative way with God to say, I am going to help meet this need. I cannot take care of every child around the world who needs it, but I could help this one young person. And over these ensuing years, I have watched her grow as we exchange letters and photos. So the gift that she is in my life is that steady reminder that I have an opportunity and an opening to let go of my own fearfulness, to listen to it, because it is sometimes there to instruct me about a reality check that I might need to look at and not be in denial. But I also affirm that God is the divine givingness of the universe, and Kian helps me to remember that. So then on the 11th, the way knows the way, I led you right into my fears, into my finger pointing about those people and all of the ways the world today causes anguish in my heart, causes steam to come out my ears on occasion. I talked about the delight that I take in those little grandbabies that I got to see last weekend. And I invited you to think about how has your life unfolded like the story arc of pilgrimage, the story arc of the seasons that we are a part of, that we really get to witness here in the Northeast. and that the life of this way shower, Jesus, we're stepping into Lent, as Diane reminded us, leading from these days of Lent, coming to Easter in a few weeks. What if everything we experience on that way invites us to show up? What if all of it is how God speaks to us? What if all of it that we experience, those emotions that sit beside us, the fear, the loneliness, the grief that are not us, but that we walk with, that sit with us, that God can use all of that? I shared a quote last week, or that week. God calls us to the fullness of living, which can be manifested in a multitude of ways. That's the gift of our friend Patricia. That's the gift of the faces that you see around here, all of those ways that God has called us. And I reminded myself, because that is how I get here, of the truth that we find our way by walking. Walking with God, walking with each other. We find our way by listening to what those joys and sorrows, our heartaches, our fears are trying to teach us. We find our way by trusting the time in solitude, in quiet, in presence, in conversation, in community, that all of those things help us to listen to God within. They help us to trust that where we are called is what the world needs from us. That I don't need to be Patricia. I don't need to be Carol or Gerri or Pete. I wish I could sing like any one of them. I need to be me. And I'm not called here to tell you to be like me. I'm called here to remind you to be like you. To wake up on your own path by walking as the divine has called you into being. And then last week, I talked about the transforming power of letting go. Because sometimes I let go like this. With clenched hands. Sometimes I let go like this. I'm dancing joyfully and my spirit is letting go of anything else. Yeah, that happens. But I needed to remember that my self-righteousness was doing me harm. That my ability to let go of both self-righteous indignation about the state of the world and what I want other people to change and be fixed, and any sense of my own shame or self-recrimination about not doing enough or what I have done not well enough. God beyond us, God beside us, and God being us wants more than that for us. Not just from us, but for us. That we are invited to feel those things that we clutch, that we hold on to, habits, patterns in relationships, things that keep us from exploring with that divine, beloved, the beyond us presence, the God within. Who are we called to be? And living from that sense of groundedness in the ground of our being. And so then this week, I just love how this happens. I have all this wisdom. And then we had a series of miracles here at Unity that was like, yep, walk your talk, sister. And I believe that they really were miracles. Miracles that invited me to walk my own talk, to trust that the divine givingness of the universe holds us all, that the way does know the way, to notice the instruction of fear and worry as they sat beside me on my shoulders, smacking my head around. And then to rejoice in the opportunity to be creative with the Creator, in partnering with that divine givingness. We don't always get the opportunity so immediately past getting an insight to put it into practice. So the first miracle that happened this week is that our furnace in the office annex died. Or rather, it's actually currently on life support. But we need to let her go. This winter, National Grid has been here, and plumbers have been here, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 times. We've had little pinprick gas leaks fixed. We've had new valves installed. We've had all kinds of repairs made. But the smell, this funny smell, was still there sometimes. So that leads to the second miracle of divine guidance, divine timing, divine givingness. And I'm going to say this person's name even though he asked me not to, because it really was a miraculous undertaking. So our friend Bob Zima, who hadn't been to Unity in a little while, had been feeling called to explore A Course in Miracles and decided to join the Tuesday morning Course in Miracles group. It meets here in person on Tuesdays, but it didn't meet in person on Tuesday because many of its members were sick. So Roger had the thought, wouldn't it be funny if today is the day that somebody comes to this for the first time in person? It's a good thing I'm here to let them in and let them know there's no group today. And that person just happened to be Bob, who retired at the end of January with a lot of years, many, many years of experience in the HVAC field. Bob was the random person who showed up on our doorstep with this weird smell in the building, said, well, let me go home and get my tools and let's see what's going on. It was Bob who came back that day for the most recent visit from the National Grid guy, who I think we're probably going to have to invite to our Thanksgiving potluck at this point. When they walked around with their sensors, the exhaust where the furnace comes outside was 4,000 parts per million of carbon monoxide. Outside. That's one of the miracles. There was carbon monoxide in and out of the building. None of us were harmed. That's one of the miracles. And another miracle, Bertha, thank you, hang in there. Bertha is what we call our beautiful furnace downstairs, who's like 100 years old. She's working at 50% capacity, but honey, we love you. Another miracle. It's not Bertha. But the major miracle is the shift in perspective that begins with our leadership team on the board, with me and Reverend Roger, as I hope something that will be a spark. And that spark started, sorry Mary, I'm going to call you out in as well. So on Thursday night, we had our final meeting of this iteration of the Board of Trustees, saying goodbye to Carol and Peggy and Diane. the other Diane Davis Schneider, who are stepping off this year. Before next week, we welcome in our newest members of the board. And before we met, Mary sent a little message, because God was talking to her at night and through the night, and she woke up with some real clarity. And she said, "Last night before I went to bed, an idea popped into my head, and it was there again to greet me as I awakened this morning. We love this church and community! Exclamation point. When a need arises, we as a people do what we can. We can do this together. As board co-president, I commit to making a significant contribution to the Furnace Fund. I'm in the process of discerning what is the right amount for me, and I encourage each of us to prayerfully discern what is ours to do." By the end of our meeting, we were actually excited. Now, we went round about some different ways to bring this message to our beloved community, but we were really excited about our chance as a leadership team, supported by the miraculously timed showing up of Bob, the understanding that this is not a need that can wait. You all came in there. It is very cold out in that office annex. But the real, true miracle was our sense of excitement, of rejoicing in this opportunity to show up in our role as the spiritual holders of this community to say, we're planting the first seed. We're sparking the first gifts. And then I received a message from a member of the building and grounds team when I shared that idea, and it is this. Thanks, Sam. The church is not cared for by a separate group of parental figures who make sure the church is running in a healthy way, but rather by a collection of individuals who share in a communal spiritual effort to maintain this community. And we are all in it together. We're all in it together. In every kind of givingness that this community needs, we're in it together. So our little circle within the big circle of the leadership team, we have committed to $3,200 from our spark. And it's not the number. The number in many ways, the need in many ways, is totally secondary. That's why that furnace going out is a miracle, because it led to that sense of, oh, God is the divine givingness of the universe, and my whole being is one with the divine flow. That was not just a good talk a few weeks ago that bit me this week to say, did you mean it? Did you mean that you're walking with me in everything? Can you sense the worry about how will it happen to get fixed? Can you feel it? Of course, we had to find I say we. Bob took one look at my face as he was saying, like, well, you could look at this kind of a furnace and this kind of a furnace and this kind of furnace. And I'm like, how about you just are an honorary member of the building and grounds team? And Bob has offered his expertise, his experience to walk us through so that when we look at what those options are, we can feel secure that we're going to pick the best one for us. But again, we are a community that has created something that is radically out of step with the noise of the world. I was introduced to a concept that I'm going to explore further by a teacher and writer, Meg Wheatley. We are an island of sanity in a world that often feels like it has lost its marbles. this community. We don't just say that vision and mission because it's what we do on a Sunday. We have embraced those words, we've embraced our values, we've embraced the ability to learn together what it means to show up as a beloved community, as a community that offers each other a place of safety, a place of welcome, a place where we get to explore who we are and who we are called to be. We are a miracle. This community is a miracle. We are a mundane miracle of individual expressions of God being us, showing up together. Our presence makes a difference. It makes a difference to each other, and it makes a difference when we leave here in all of the ways then that our circles circle others. We then grow other islands. When we strengthen each other here, we grow other islands of sanity in a world that calls out for the transformation that we say we are a part of, that we live as part of. And so I invite you this week to remember, like I have had to remember, that I've been invited to remember, that I've been miraculously reminded to remember, of all of the many ways you show up as divine givingness. And as I invited us on that Sunday in February a few weeks ago, there are so many ways. We can give smiles to strangers. We can give patience and understanding and truth-telling in our relationships. We can give space between cars when we are in traffic. We can give by centering in quiet and letting ourselves be led by that voice that whispers as God being us. We can give to our Mother Earth by making choices that heal and sustain our fragile, beautiful planet. We can give so that soup kitchens and food pantries and war and suffering and oppression are obsolete. We can give from the ground of our being. And then, of course, I invite you to prayerfully discern how you too can step into this mundane miracle of a broken down furnace and help meet this need that arose so perfectly timed for us to, as a community, walk our talk. For me as your minister to walk my talk and to invite us in all of the ways that we do show up, to recognize that that actually is also one of the ways. It's how we mind that gap that I showed a few weeks ago of what this year and our fiscal safeguarding of our gifts means. We are a miracle as a community. And next week, that annual meeting is a celebration of that. And Diane, thank you for reminding people that whether you are a current member or not, you're all welcome to that meeting. It's a way to celebrate and recognize the gift of the life we are as a community. And yes, we will vote in our 3 wonderful new board members, 2 of whom will hold a 3-year term and 1 will hold a 1-year term, depending on how the mundane miracle of e-voting and in-paper voting works. Come and be a life, a part of the life, even more, of this community. Come and be fed with lunch, come and be fed with friendship, come and be fed as we are every week. And at that annual meeting, we'll have a special collection that will be for the Furnace Fund. And in between then, if you want to do a check, put Furnace Fund on that. If you donate online, you can put a little note in PayPal and that kind of thing. But show up in every way that God calls you. Show up as love. Show up as kindness. Show up in ways large and small for each other, because that is how we have created the miracle of who we are as a community. And so it is. Amen. So we have our lovely Dottie and Paul Freeman who are going to come around with their butterfly nets and catch our love offerings in this way in just a moment. I also just want to mention that Bob is here today, and he is happy to answer any questions you might have about the furnace, about options, and where we are at this moment. So Bob, you'll meet people downstairs? Yeah, so after the service, you can get your questions answered by somebody who knows a lot more than I do. Do you want to stand up so they can see who you are? Here. And really, I am sorry. You have asked me expressly not to make a big deal out of you, but you're my current hero, so whatever. All right. So let's pause and feel the gift of the miracle of being a part of this divine givingness, this flow. And to feel the words that we say again. We say these words every week, and they could just be rote. But they're a prayer. They're a reminder. They're an affirmation. They are the truth telling that our heart needs to hear, to remember. And so in gratitude, as we come to this moment where we offer this kind of love offering that keeps our lights on and ministers paid and National Grid coming back. Feel the truth that you are. Your whole being is part of that divine givingness in so many ways that you show up. As we say together, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We are blessed to know that Spirit is our source. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, and so it is. Amen.
Well, I just need to say I'm really sad to hear about the passing of Steve. It was really nice to have him here. We got a chance to see him a lot because we were here with him when we were shut down. So for the first year or so, or 6 months maybe. We got to see him a lot, and try not to get teary when I say this because I need to sing. But he said something really beautiful when he left, which was, I think, like a perfect goodbye. He said, "Thank you for being in my life," and I love that. I love that. I remember when he said, I was like, "That's perfect. It's a perfect way to say goodbye." And so I wanted to offer that to all you. Thank you for being in my life, and thank you for being here for each other. And in my perfect imperfection and your perfect imperfection, wherever we've met each other on a given day, thank you. And I'm grateful to be in this community. I'll just say quickly about this song that it was inspired by Eckhart Tolle, who talks about, going to now or finding peace or being present in being available in any moment. So, when I'm like in my dark spot that I forgot I had, until it comes out in a heated discussion, or when I'm glowing, there's something available in that space. There's peace available in that space, and so may we all remember that in those times. And it was inspired. I started this. I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot, but actually, I'm not sorry. I'm talking a lot. Excuse me. Yes. Thank you. I wrote it in the garden room. I started it in the garden room on a day as beautiful as this, but probably 60 degrees warmer, with the breeze coming through, and just having enjoyed a service. Because we used to do the 2 services, which on one level I miss, on another level I don't miss. The hour earlier I would have been here, and it was really nice because sometimes I'm a bit ADHD, and so sometimes first time I don't get everything. Second time through I was like really internalizing. So it was that beautiful experience of of the afterglow of a service, and the breeze and the warmth, on a summer, probably in June I'm going to say, but. So anyway, that's that. Here it is. Just another perfect... Hang on. That was perfect, wasn't it? Just another perfect day, just another perfect way to remember that it's alright. Just another perfect fifth to help dispel another myth, denying that it's alright. Hey, it's another chance. Hey, optimism is a stance that you can take. Hey, now can be the time we awake from the trance. A garden's only ever going to grow the seeds you plant. Just another perfect storm to help appreciate the warm sunny days when we know that it's alright. Just another perfect breeze blowing old fond memories from when we could feel that it's alright. Hey, it's another chance. Hey, optimism is a stance that you can take. Hey, now can be the time we awake from the trance. A garden's only ever going to grow the seeds you plant. When the horizon's looking dark, and when the rain only seems to fall, where you are, keeping faith is a friend. reminding you that this is just another beginning's end. Just another perfect rain that helps to cleanse unreleased pain. The clouds our view that it's alright. Hey, it's another chance. Hey, optimism is a stance that you can take. Hey, now can be the time when you wake from the trance. A garden's only ever going to grow the seeds you plant. Thank you.
We are centered in the presence of the divine givingness, grateful for the seeds that we have planted as a community, and trusting that together we are growing just where God asks us to grow. And so it is. Amen. So just a quick reminder that we do have prayer chaplains. Dennis is on the job today. If you would like one-on-one prayer, he'll meet with you at the back of church. And then the invitation for those of us who are not going to sit with Dennis is to scoot downstairs and kind of clear the aisles so that those who are interested in finding that gift of being held in prayer in person can do that with ease. And then come on downstairs and have some snacks, have a cup of coffee, have a chance to ask Bob some questions about the state of the furnace and all the rest of it. All right. Pete, thank you for that. For all the ways you share your gifts. This music team is really extraordinary. Raj, we do miss you. But what a blessing. Yeah. Talk about givingness. There are many creative ideas afoot. In fact, one that might include the greatest hits of our music team, so stay posted. So we're at this moment in our service where we're about to say the version that we have come to say each week of the prayer of protection. I have really, in my own kind of imagination, connected that idea of God is the name of the blanket that we put over the mystery to give it shape with this prayer. Because to me, that is one of the ways that this prayer comes across to me as that blanket. That God uses us as the hands and hearts and voices of all of these ways that we trust God at work in our lives and at work in the world. And so wherever you found your heart this morning, and wherever you felt that connection beyond your own sense of sitting with one of those friends that come to teach and instruct, we bring in all of those people around the world and close to our hearts at home. that need that sense of being held in this blanket. So I invite you to say this prayer together, but to also feel how it calls you, how it calls each of us into being love in action, God in action, as we say together. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. We are unrepeatable expressions of the divine. And so it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life, thought I'd have to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the grace of God was at hand. Ow! But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only